You know the image. 300 perfectly sculpted Spartan super soldiers, standing shoulder to shoulder, holding off an endless tide of monsters. This narrative is a total myth. The historical truth is far more complex, focusing on a desperate strategic reality rather than a cinematic fantasy of untouchable heroes. The real story at Thermopylae in 480 BC was a calculated tactical delay involving thousands of Greek allies, narrow geographical choke points, and a massive multicultural invasion force. Exhausted, terrified, and fully aware of their mortality, these mortal men chose to stand and hold the line against a relentless force that absolutely should have obliterated them in a matter of hours. To understand their stand, we have to look at the world they lived in. This was a fractured landscape of independent rival city-states like Athens, Sparta, and Corinth, each with its own laws and military ambitions. To the east, King Xerxes and the Persian Empire demanded absolute obedience. Xerxes inherited his father's war against the Greeks, seeking to punish the city-states for past rebellions and expand his control into Europe. Xerxes arrived with a massive, multicultural military machine. His army included Medes, Egyptians, Phoenicians, and Lydians, all integrated into a highly organized command structure representing the full reach of the empire. Moving this multinational force was a staggering logistical challenge. Every soldier and animal required continuous access to food and water, meaning the army's timeline was dictated by its massive consumption needs. This created an impossible problem. Divided Greek city-states had to find a way to stall an organized military juggernaut that far outnumbered them. This map shows Thermopylae, the Hot Gates, a narrow passage between mountains and sea. Here, the overwhelming size of the Persian army was irrelevant. Xerxes' forces were funneled into a doorway where only a fraction could engage defenders at once. While the myth focuses on 300, Leonidas' royal guard fought alongside thousands of other Greek soldiers in a coordinated coalition defense. Their strength was the phalanx. By overlapping these heavy bronze shields, the Greeks created a literal wall. This formation relied on synchronized discipline and collective protection rather than individual heroics. The combination of the physical bottleneck and the mechanical wall of the phalanx created a structural trap that temporarily neutralized the world's greatest superpower. For 2 days, the Greek wall remained unbroken. Xerxes threw wave after wave of soldiers, including his elite immortals, into the pass, but the narrow terrain prevented them from ever achieving a breakthrough. As the days passed, Xerxes faced a logistical crisis. His army was so large it risked starving if it remained stuck at this single bottleneck for much longer. Then, a local man named Ephialtes revealed a hidden mountain path. In the dead of night, Persian troops moved through the mountains to bypass the pass and surround the Greek rear. This single piece of intelligence instantly broke the physical geometry of the Greek defense, turning a perfect bottleneck into a fatal trap. Knowing they were surrounded, Leonidas ordered the bulk of the Greek coalition to retreat. He remained with a small vanguard to ensure the rest of the army could escape. On the final morning, exhausted men checked their weapons, knowing their only goal was to buy time. They were preparing for a clash they knew they could not survive. Leonidas committed to a calculated sacrifice. By forcing the Persians to spend precious hours slaughtering his rear guard, he guaranteed the surviving Greek army could retreat safely to fight another day. While Thermopylae fell and Athens was eventually burned, the days bought by the Spartans allowed the Greeks to evacuate their people and reorganize their defenses. These wooden ships became the next line of defense. The Greeks used the same narrow battlefield strategy at sea during the Battle of Salamis, crippling the Persian fleet before ending the invasion at the Battle of Plataea. The delay at Thermopylae was the essential catalyst for these victories. A tactical defeat on the battlefield architected a strategic survival for the entire civilization. History often remembers the men who lost at the Hot Gates more clearly than the generals who won the final war. Their legacy comes from proving that discipline can challenge overwhelming numbers, and that a collective refusal to surrender can shake the foundations of an empire. The mortal sacrifice of the 300 at the Hot Gates created a permanent symbol of defiance that outlasted the empires themselves.